Thank you. Let me talk a little bit about quantum computing.
Sure.
Yeah, in your written testimony, you underscored existing efforts to further secure the nation's economic and national security through this area. And researchers right now, the University of Nevada, Reno, the Argonne National Lab, and Pacific Northwest National Lab, they received $2.5 million in grants from the DOE to develop a center that designs molecules for QIS applications. From your perspective, how would the DOE Science for the Future Act or any of the legislation that we're talking about today build on partnerships like this to ensure that the U.S. continues to be a world leader in fostering new technologies such as quantum superposition? I'm curious your thoughts.
So that's really a great question, and what a hot topic these days, and a very competitive topic, too, with other countries, particularly China. So in this realm of quantum computing, one of the really hard issues, and I think the funding that went to your state is to address this issue, are the materials. So, you know, when we have normal computers, we've got the silicon chip and it's been etched and we've got bits and so forth. And with quantum, we have qubits. I'm not going to go into all the details, nor do you need to know the details. All you need to know is that what's really hard, what the big challenge in quantum computing is that what you've got there, the material you've got there to work with, has to be so pristine and perfect with almost, well, no defects, because defects kills the qubits. and that takes incredible material science. Now, today, the model system that's used are diamonds, fabricated diamonds, right? And so, because they can be in a crystalline form, that the number of, can we say, potholes in there are pretty small. And so, developing materials that can be so incredibly pure and structured so that they don't kill off, if I can say that, the qubits is really important. And so it's a huge effort in material science, but it also is you know, a lot having to do with lasers and intense lasers and short pulse lasers and so forth involved too. But in my mind, it's really this issue of the materials. And we've seen some really cool research come out lately. I believe one study from Argonne that actually is showing some progress in some carbide material. And I get very excited about that because it gets us closer. I can't remember, it was 5 seconds or 5 minutes that the qubit lasted, but it's still making progress. So it's really important that we have an all hands on deck that are people that are interested in and qualified working on this, because it's in a very discovery mode before we can move forward in the quantum area. And that means, in many respects, that discovery mode means you can be doing it at a lot of different places, as long as you are capable to be able to test things, like you have your collaboration with Argonne, to be able to test out what you're...
And so would you say that for that reason, it's important for Congress, for us to come to the table with the research and development continuing because of the opportunities we have here, and it's at the beginning stages, and we need to continue that development and research, correct?
That's right. That's right. But I would say that in a lot of areas, whether it be carbon capture or hydrogen or any of those areas, or, you know, when you're talking about critical minerals, a real problem is separating those critical minerals, whether they be rare earths, from the dirt, you know, and separating it with great purity. And there's just been this cool study that came out this past week where the group is using, Lawrence Livermore National Lab, a group is using a bacterial protein to grab on to rare earths and, you know, and separate them rather than the caustic chemicals you usually use. I mean, is that like too cool? And it really is, because it's just a new way of thinking about things. It's a discovery. Somebody from Penn State was involved too.
Well, Dr. Rich, I just have to say, it's such a pleasure as well to see your passion and enthusiasm for the job and the opportunities around what we're talking about in the science. So thank you. Thank you for, again, answering the questions and being here today as well.
Great.
Senator Hickenlooper.